Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayamrupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasa Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. Today is April 4th, 2026, and we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, chapter 9. Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu travels to the holy places in South India. And in that, we are reading about Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Venkat Bhatta in Srirangam, and the talks between them. So Mahaprabhu has established now to Venkat Bhatta that why he established why Lakshmi Devi was not given entrance into Raslila. What is the reason? First of all, if anyone wants to associate with Krishna in the Rasalila, in any Vrajalila actually, you have to follow in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis. There's no other way. First of all, you should receive the bhava of the Vrajvasi, and you should actually be trained by them. Then you can participate in Vrajalila with Krishna directly. So if anyone wants to participate, and also it is said that even though Lord Ramchandra and even though Lord Vishnu and Lord Krishna is the same person, still there is extra sweetness in Krishna's pastimes. So what is that? There are 4 characteristic features actually. So I had told you the other day that I will tell you what these 4 are. Over and above all the other expansions of Krishna, what are the additional features that Krishna has which no other Vishnu Tattva has? So these are Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri. Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri. So Krishna's flute. You will see even Krishna does not play flute anywhere else. He plays flute only in Vrindavan. Venu Madhuri, Krishna and Vrindavan. Rupa Madhuri, extremely sweet Krishna, in the threefold bending form with a peacock feather on his head, wearing a forest flower garland. Krishna's form is extremely enchanting. It is even enchanting to Vasudev, Krishna, in Dwaraka and Mathura. When he sees the form of Krishna of Vrindavan, he becomes enchanted and he desires. This is Krishna in Mathura and Vrindavan, in Dwaraka. He feels that, when he saw Krishna's form in the wall, then he became so enchanted and he desired to participate in Leela with Krishna, like Srimati Radharan, because he's so attractive, so enchanting, like that. So there are verses in Shastra that show that Krishna, Vasudeva, don't know what to speak of anyone else. Krishna as in any other form, as an expansion, is enchanted by the beauty. That's why Rupa Madhuri, extremely sweet, extremely attractive form of Krishna in Vrindavan. Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, the pastimes that Krishna performs with his devotees. Always, Krishna has different, in Sakhya Rasa, he has pastimes with his cowherd boys. In Vatsalya Rasa, he has pastimes with the elderly gopis and gopas. In Dasya Rasa, of course, and what to speak of in Madhurya Rasa. He is performing so many variety of pastimes. This is found only in Vrindavan because there is no tinge of Aishwarya in Vrindavan. That's the speciality in those pastimes. Yes, there are these relationships, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Dasya, Madhurya, even in Dwaraka, Mathura. But there is also Aishwarya Bhava. He is the Supreme Lord. So there's that awe and reverence along with these rasas. So therefore, the pastimes of Vrindavan are super sweet because there's no tinge of Aishwarya. They're very, very intimate. Like that. Then, so Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, I told you, flute. The other day we were reading about Vamsivadan Thakur's appearance day. Vamsivadan Thakur is the flute of Krishna. And also there's a chapter called Venu Gita in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So there we see, so Venu Gita is the gopis talking amongst themselves, appreciating the song that comes out of the flute. That means when Krishna touches his lips to his flute and he fills the flute with his love when he's playing. And what is the effect of that song, which is actually coming from Krishna, from Krishna's lips, but it enters into the flute. And then when it comes out of the flute, what is the effect that this song coming from the flute is having on different personalities? What is happening to them? Like that. And this is from the perspective of the gopis. The gopis are talking amongst themselves about what is the effect of this Venu Gita, the song coming from the flute. What is its effect? What is happening to different personalities? So this Venu, how fortunate this flute is. So that is Venu Madhuri. And then there is Prema Madhuri, which is being discussed here. Prema Madhuri means specifically here Krishna's conjugal pastimes, the Rasa Leela. that you don't find anywhere else, only in Braja, not in Dwaraka also, not in Mathura also, only in Braja. Krishna's Raslila, his conjugal pastimes, Prema Madhuri. So these are the extra features to be found only in Krishna, not to be found even in not to be found even in one second. Anywhere else, not even in Mathura or Dwarka. What to speak of India? Only in Braja. So we were reading that so Mahaprabhu answered Venkat Bhatta's. So the challenge was why Lakshmi Devi is not allowed in the Ras Leela, whereas the Vedas were allowed. So of course Venkat Bhatta accepted his defeat. At first, he tried to prove that there was no fault. But then when Mahaprabhu brought out this point, why is it that she was not allowed? There's no problem with her desiring to go and participate in Ras Leela. But what is the reason that she is not allowed to participate? Then Venkat Bhatta became completely defeated. He said, no, my mind has no entrance into this secret. Since you are Kṛṣṇa himself, these are your personal pastimes. Whoever you enlighten will be able to understand the secret. That means, please tell me the reason. So then Mahaprabhu explained that Krishna is a gopa and his beloved can be only a gopi. He won't look at any goddesses or any other women. His beloved can be a gopi only. So therefore, if you want to participate in Ras Leela with Krishna, you must have the body of a gopi, both externally and internally. Internally means you should have the bhava of a gopi. And externally also, you must get the body of a gopi. Then, then in that body of a gopi, you have to be trained under the eternal gopis of Krishna. And being trained by them, then you can participate in Krishna Leela, in Rasa Leela. Lakshmi Devi performed tapasya, but she wanted to maintain her body of the goddess of fortune, of Vaikunta. She is the goddess of fortune. And also, she did not accept the bhava of the gopis, nor did she get trained under the gopis. Whereas the Shrutis, the Vedas, they accepted the bhava of the gopis. How do you get the bhava of gopis? So again, first of all, you get Dhrida Shraddha. By Dhrida Shraddha, how do you get Dhrida Shraddha? By hearing. By hearing, let me show you that diagram so it will be easy to understand as I speak. Otherwise, it will just go above your head maybe. 1 second. I'll show you the diagram. Showing you the diagram as well. This laptop has become so slow. Okay. So, so when does one get the bhava of the gopis, I asked, right? So here, this purple color, this bhava, this is where one gets the bhava of your role model devotee in Vraja. So your role model can be Yashoda Mai or any other Gopa or Gopi who is in Vatsalya Bhava. Or your role model can be any of the Gopi who is in Madhurya Bhava, like Lalita Vishakha, Indulekha Tunga Vidya, like this. Any of the Gopis. Or your role model can be one of the Manjaris. Because we are all Rupanugas, we are all the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. In our line, our role model is Srila Rupa Goswami. So here you'll get bhava in this stage. That is my point. But to get that bhava, where should we travel from? After you get the association of devotees, you are here. So from here, we have to reach there. So from here, how do we get here? We need to get Dhrida Shraddha first. How will you get Dhrida Shraddha? You'll get Dhrida Shraddha because you already got the initial mercy from sadhus. That's why you are here. Now you have to hear the glories of Krishna and Bhakti in Bhagavad Gita, given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And you must hear from one who has this Dhrida Shraddha. Then your Dhrida Shraddha will also develop. Okay? By hearing the glories of Krishna and Bhakti. And when you get Dhrida Shraddha, now you'll begin 24 hours bhajan. Even though externally you may be doing other things to set example to the world, but you are constantly in touch with Krishna, either by chanting or remembering or hearing or doing devotional service like Archanam, like that. One way or the other, you will be connected with Krishna 24 hours. That's when you begin pure devotional service. By that, and you will be doing that in the association of devotees, sadhu sangha. You're doing bhajan. By that type of tīvra bhakti, what happens? Your anarthas will just get burnt out, right? So all these stages are based on the eradication of anarthas. As you're moving each stage, your anarthas are getting eradicated. Anartha means unwanted things. Unwanted things. Then when most of the anarthas are removed, now your bhajan becomes steady. Before that, even though you're endeavoring to do 24-hour bhajan, you keep falling down here and there. But after anartha nivriti, now you don't fall down. Steadily, you'll be doing bhajan. By doing this steady bhajan, now you will develop a taste. Now you're not doing because of Dhrida Shraddha. Now you'll do devotional service because of the taste. You cannot stop. Before that, your mind is going here and there and you have to pull your mind back to devotional service. Even though sometimes, because of your anarthas, you don't feel like doing, right? You fall down and then, you want to do, but you keep falling down. That happens before anartha nivriti stage. But in nishta stage, your bhajan becomes steady. And then by that steady bhajan, you'll develop a taste. That taste keeps pulling your mind back to Krishna. Instead of pulling your mind away from Krishna, it keeps pulling your mind back to Krishna, Ruchi. Then asakti. Asakti means intense attachment to Krishna. So in this stage, Ruchi and asakti stages, you will actually shift to raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti means now you will start following the footsteps of a role model devotee in Vrajalila. How will you know? From Shastra, from Vrindavan pastimes in Shastra. So you will become attracted to one particular devotee, role model. And then you will be hearing those pastimes of Krishna with that devotee and how that devotee is serving Krishna. And what is the day schedule of the devotee from morning until night, what type of services that devotee does. And you will try to practice those mentally. Although externally you will be doing Vaidhi Bhakti, attending Mangalarti and all these things you'll be doing here. But mentally you will be following the schedule of that devotee in Vraja, like rising in the morning and collecting cow dung and making cow dung patties and, milking the cows, bringing grass, like that. Mentally you'll be following. All this is happening in these stages. And by that practice, by that meditation, right? Your attachment is increasing so much. And finally, in this stage, that devotee who is your role model will award his or her. So in our case, it will be Rupa Manjari. So she will award her bhava to us. She will share a portion, a little bit of her bhava with us. That means sharing her bhava means at this stage we will be receiving also the body in a budding stage, the body. We'll get a relationship with Krishna. Now we will start experiencing Krishna within our heart, direct experience in the heart. Spurana, it is said. This is bhava, receiving gopi bhava. And this is the budding stage. And then the full-fledged stage would be prema. In prema stage, now you can actually, when you get prema, now the Lord reveals himself to you externally. You can actually touch the Lord. You can see the Lord outside your body. You can actually see him. You can hear him speak. You can touch him like that. You can smell. All this is happening in prema. And once you get prema, and so now you got that body, spiritual body. Now you are eligible to participate in the Lord's pastime directly. In the Raslila, you can enter. This much is there. When Mahāprabhu says that you need to get gopi bhava, you may wonder how to get gopi bhava. This is the procedure to get gopi bhava. We should understand that. So, so here it is said, what is Mahāprabhu saying? I'll just show you. So, Kṛṣṇera eka svabhava vilakṣana svamadhurye sarva chitta kore akarshana. That means one Krishna's characteristic feature is his conjugal pastimes, his prema madhuri. Brajalokera bhave paiye tahara charan tare ishvara kori nahi jane vrajajan. So, until and unless you get that bhava of the Brajavasi. So that's why I explained to you how you actually receive that bhava. Until and unless you receive that bhava, you cannot actually participate. Okay, so you need to get. So here, if you want to get entrance into this conjugal pastime of Krishna, first of all, you need to receive that bhava of the Brajavasis. By serving by that you can get Krishna's lotus feet. That means you can participate in Krishna's pastimes. And what is the peculiar feature in Braja? They don't consider Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They consider Krishna to be his son, the Brajavasis, and then thinking like that, she ties him to the grinding motor, and someone else treats Krishna like his buddy, his friend, and jumps on his shoulder. This is how they treat Krishna. Brajendra Nandana, and what is their understanding? Krishna is the son of the king of Vraja. Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj. They have no conception of Krishna's opulence, Aishwarya Bhava, that he is the Supreme Lord. So anyone who worships like with the bhava of the Brajvasis. So that's why I told you how to get that bhava before this in that diagram. So anyone who does bhajan with the bhava of the Brajvasis, say janapaye vraje vrajendra nandan. Such people only can get Krishna in Vraja. One who worships Krishna with the bhava of the Brajvasi only can get Krishna in Braja. So then what is the proof? Shloka is quoted here that unless that by karma, jnana and yoga you cannot achieve Krishna, only by following in the footsteps of Brajvasis. When you receive that bhava of Brajvasis, can you get Krishna. Now, why the Vedas got entrance? These Vedas, Shruti-gana, gopī-gaṇera anugata hoya. Following in the footsteps of the gopis, they worshipped Vrajeshwari Sutta, Yashodamai's son, with gopi bhava. So they got gopi bhava. They first of all got gopi bhava by following in the footsteps of the gopis. And with that gopi bhava, they worship the Supreme Lord. And by this type of gopi bhava and worshipping Krishna, following the footsteps of the gopis, they actually got the body of gopis. Matlab meaning they came to prema bhakti stage. So they got gopi deha, they got gopi body. And then in Vraja, they took birth in Vraja with gopi body. And with that body, they actually participated in the Ras Leela with Krishna. So they got entrance. So what is the key here? Following in the footsteps of the gopis, worshipping Krishna with the bhava of the gopis and accepting to be trained by the gopis. This is essential. And getting a body of a gopi. Why? Because Krishna belongs to gopi jati and only a gopi can be his preyasi. His beloved girlfriend can only be a gopi. He will not accept Devi or any other, like goddess or any other woman. He will not accept. Na kore angikar. He wants only gopi because he is a gopa. In case of Lakshmi Devi, she wanted to associate with Krishna, but she neither followed in the footsteps of gopis, nor did she do bhajan like them. That means she didn't follow in the footsteps of gopis to worship Krishna. Now, it's not possible to participate in the Ras Leela of Krishna with any body except that of a gopi. So that's why it is said, the verse beginning with Nayam, right, says that Vyasdev has composed this verse. Nayam means unless one has the body of a gopi, you cannot participate in Krishna's pastime. So now, why, we may wonder, why Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu brought this whole discussion with Venkat Bhatta? What could be the reason? Why is he even, there will be some reason. He's not just, without any purpose, simply just speaking like this. Venkat Bhatta is a Sri Vaishnava. Sri Vaishnava means worshipper of Lakshmi-Narayaṇa. And he was an ardent, a great devotee of Lakshmi-Narayaṇa. And actually, Mahaprabhu was very pleased with his service. But the thing is, previously, Venkat Bhatta had this pride that Sri Nārayaṇa is Svayam Bhagavān. Who is Svayam Bhagavān? Lord Nārāyaṇa is Svayam Bhagavān. And because Nārayaṇa is Svayam Bhagavān, worship of Nārayaṇa is of the highest, type of worship. That is the best type of worship. Because Nārayaṇa is the original personality of Godhead. That means all other forms, including Krishna, Balaram, are expanding from Nārayaṇa. Therefore, worship of Lakshmi-Narayaṇa is the highest type of worship. He had this type of understanding and pride. So, and therefore, since the Sri Vaishnavas are the worshippers of Lakshmi-Narayaṇa, therefore Sri Vaishnava's method of worship is the best worship. He had this type of abhiman. Now, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Swayam Bhagwan, he is Krishna in Goloka himself. Ei tara garva prabhu korite khandan. He wanted to crush this pride of Venkat Bhatta. Parihasa dware uthaya ete ke vachan. Therefore, he just, in a joking way, just opened up this topic. What was the purpose? To crush the pride of Sri Venkat Bhatta, that Lord Nārayaṇa is Swayam Bhagwan, and worship of Lord Nārayaṇa, and that too, which is followed by Sri Vaishnavas, that is the highest type of worship. So Mahaprabhu wanted to crush this pride. So Mahaprabhu said, my dear Venkat Bhatta, please don't doubt. Swayam Bhagwan is Krishna. This is certain. Swayam Bhagwan is Krishna. Then, who is Nārayaṇa? Nārayaṇa is an expansion, vilasa mūrti of Krishna. So the other day I told you that I'm going to explain this. I will show it to you now in a minute. Because Nārayaṇa is a vilasa mūrti, so I will have to show you what is vilasa. I'll show you in a minute. So Krishnera vilasa mūrti Sri Nārayaṇa. Nārayaṇa is the vilas mūrti of Krishna. Ateva Lakshmi Adyera hare tehoman. That means original person is Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan is Kṛṣṇa, and Krishna's expansion, Vilas-mūrti, is Śrī-Nārāyaṇa. And Śrī-Nārāyaṇ's consort or his internal energy is Lakshmi Devi. So it is therefore, because Narayan is an expansion of Krishna and Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan means, just now I told you, he has 4 extra features which nobody else has. None of the expansions of Krishna have what Krishna has, these 4 additional extra features. Sweetness. Everyone else has only 60 qualities. Krishna has 64 qualities. So these are the 4 additional qualities that Krishna has. So Narayan as a Vilas-mūrti of Krishna also has only 60 qualities, but Krishna has 4 additional features. In that, we saw Prema Madhuri, his conjugal pastimes. So it is natural that Lakshmi Devi's mind is stolen by Krishna's sweetness, because this is over and above what Lord Narayan has. That's the point. And then also establishing how Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, not Narayan, from Srimad Bhagavatam. Ete chamsha kalapum saha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Ridayanti Yuge Yuge. So a couple of days ago, I also explained this verse. How, first of all, how Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest pramana. And in that Srimad Bhagavatam, in the declaration chapter, this is called the Paribhasha Sutram. That means this is like the global variable in C programming, global variable. That means wherever this shloka appears, it takes precedence. That means you should use this shloka whenever this topic comes about who is the Supreme Lord, throughout Srimad Bhagavatam and throughout all scriptures. Because first of all, Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest pramana. So if in any other Purana or any other part of the Vedas, if you hear someone else as the Supreme, immediately on the authority of this verse, that becomes secondary. This becomes main. Krishna is a Supreme. This takes precedence. That's why this is called Paribhasha Sutram. This is a rule in literary work. There is something called Paribhasha Sutram. And what is the role of Paribhasha Sutram? That is explained. Okay, so this I had covered in 2 days ago about Paribhasha Sutram. So there, that's how we understand Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu is telling this to Venkat Bhatta, quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam. Nārāyaṇa hoite Krishṇera asadharana guna ateva lakṣmīra Krishne Trishna anuksham. So compared to Narayan, Krishna has extraordinary qualities. So that's what I told you. Prema Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Guna Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri. Extraordinary qualities Krishna has compared to Narayan. Therefore, Lakshmi Devi is always hankering. At every second, she is hankering for Krishna. Tumi je podila shloka se hoye praman, say shloka, I say Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. So, Venkat Bhatta earlier had quoted this verse to prove that Krishna and Narayan are the same person. However, in Krishna, there are additional qualities. That conjugal mellow, Ras Leela is there in Krishna's pastime. Therefore, Krishna's pastimes are more attractive. Therefore, Lakshmi Devi is wanting to associate with Krishna. And there is nothing wrong with that, because this does not destroy her chastity to Narayan. After all, Narayan and Krishna are the same person. Venkat Bhatta himself had quoted this verse to defend Lakshmi Devi, to say that there's nothing wrong if Lakshmi Devi is desiring to participate in Rasa Leela. So now Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu is saying, the verse that you have quoted, that itself is the proof that Krishna has extraordinary qualities compared to Narayan. That means superior qualities compared to Narayan. Okay. So then today's verse, Svayam Bhagavan Kṛṣṇa hare lakṣmīra man, gopikāra mana harite nāre Nārāyaṇa. Now, Krishna being Swayam Bhagavan, he is able to steal the heart of Lakshmi Devi. But Narayan, because he is an expansion of Krishna, he cannot do the same to the gopis. The gopis are Krishna's consorts. Can Narayan attract Krishna's consorts towards him? No, he cannot. We have the pastime where Krishna was hiding from the gopis, And, he went away from the Ras Leela. So they were looking for him. And then at one point, Krishna was, hiding under a bush and they just appeared. So just to escape, get away from them, he turned into four-handed Narayan form. He manifested four arms. And when the gopis came, they saw, oh, this is Narayan. They didn't recognize him as Krishna. They saw him as Narayan. But were they attracted? Oh, Lord Narayan? No. They just offered pranams and they said, oh, Lord Narayan, please tell us where is Krishna. And then he just showed in that direction. They went away. That means they had no attraction for Narayan. Their attraction was only for Krishna. Can Narayan steal the hearts of the gopis? No. Can Krishna steal the heart of Lakshmi Devi? Yes. Why? Because Narayan is a vilasa mūrti, expansion of Krishna, whereas Krishna is the original Svayam bhagavān. That means Krishna is complete in all qualities. Narayan does not have all the qualities that Krishna has. This is the point. Okay. Svayam bhagavān Krishna hare lakṣmīra man gopikāra mana harite nāre Nārāyaṇa. Narayan cannot steal the heart of the gopis, but Krishna, being Swayam Bhagavan, attracts the mind of Lakshmi Devi. Nārāyaṇera kathā śrī-kṛṣṇa āpane gopikāra hāsya karāite hoye nārāyaṇe. Nārāyaṇera kathā. What to speak of Narayan? śrī-kṛṣṇa āpane gopikāre hāsya karāite hoye nārāyaṇe. To say nothing of Lord Narayan personally, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Narayan just to play a joke on the gopis. So exactly what I told you just now. That means it's not that Lord Narayan came. Krishna himself appeared as Narayan to them. To play a joke with them, he himself appeared as Narayan. So now the point is, gopis are not attracted to Narayan. That's the point. So to prove that, what to speak of, they are not attracted to Narayan. Even if Krishna himself took the form of Narayan, still they wouldn't be attracted to Narayan. Krishna, while playing, all of a sudden, if he manifested four arms, it's Krishna only. But just jokingly, if he appeared with four hands, they don't find any attraction. And what to speak of if Narayan, personally from Vaikuntha, Narayan appeared in front of them? They have no attraction. catur-bhuja-mūrti dekhaya gopī-gaṇera āge sei Krishna gopīra nahe anurāge. So Krishna in front of gopis, right? He manifested the catur-bhuja-mūrti. He showed the catur-bhuja-mūrti to the gopis. But even though he is Krishna, but now having catur-bhuja, the gopis didn't get any affection or attraction for such Krishna in the four-handed form. Although Krishna assumed the four-armed form of Narayan, he could not attract the serious attention of gopis in ecstatic love. So I want to tell you about the expansions, although it will take some time. What to do? So it's okay. I'll try. I want to tell you about the expansions of Krishna. Why Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Actually, we will read this in detail when we come to the 20th chapter of Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. Now we are in the 9th chapter of Madhya Leela. When we come to the 20th chapter of Madhya Leela, there we will see this. So This is the reference, and I will just so you will find all these details in this chapter, Caitanya, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. But first of all, in a broad way, if you want to categorize Krishna's expansions are of three categories. Okay, what are they? First one is Svayamrupa. Okay. Second is Tadekatma. Tadekatma. And the third one is Avesha. These are the three types of expansions of Krishna. Three types of forms, you can say, or expansion. So now let us look at the first one, Svayamrupa. This Svayamrupa is of two types. One is Svayamrupa and the other is Svayam Prakasha. Swayam Prakasha. So what is the example of Svayamrupa Krishna? He is Rajendra Nandan Krishna, Krishna in Vrindavan. Rajendra Nandan Krishna. This is Svayamrupa. Or you can say Swayam Bhagavān or Svayamrupa. So who is the original personality of Godhead? The ultimate name in absolute truth is what? Krishna in Vrindavan. Rajendra Nandan Krishna, Yashoda Nandan Krishna, Radha Krishna, Krishna in Goloka. That is the ultimate, the highest form of the absolute truth. Then what is Swayam Prakasha? Prakasha means the expansions, identical expansions of Svayamrupa. Identical. That means there's absolutely no difference. Identical expansions of Svayamrupa. This is called Swayam Prakasha. Example, various forms of Krishna. Not various, you say many, because they're identical. So, many forms of Krishna in Ras Leela. Same Krishna, same form, but he's there with each gopi has Krishna, like that. So this is Svayamrupa. That Svayamrupa, when he expands into identical forms, it's called Prakasha. So Prakasha, so what you should do is, you should pay attention to, because Prakasha has a meaning. Prakasha means what? Prakash means same form. Identically, many are formed. So the same personality is now expanding into another form. That means it's like a copy, like a Xerox copy, like that. Like exactly same person now comes in another form. That is Prakasha. Okay? Prakasha means identical expansion. Prakasha. So Swayam Prakasha means that Swayam Bhagavan here, Svayamrupa, he is expanding identically. That becomes Swayam Prakasha. But just the word Prakasha means identical expansion. Because why I am saying, This prakasha can be applied in other cases also. So you should know what prakasha means. Okay. Now, this prakasha expansion can be of two types. Prakasha expansion can be of two types. One is called vaibhava and another is called prabhava. Vaibhava and prabhava. Okay. So, Svayamrupa. Swayam Prakash. So then in Prakash now you have Vaibhava and Prabhava. What does Vaibhava mean? Vaibhava means very, like mostly identical. Okay. Vaibhava Prakash means mostly identical, but with a little change, little difference, such as in color or in mood. So, if you want to know what is Vaibhava Prakash of Svayamrupa Krishna, what would be the Vaibhava Prakash of Svayamrupa Krishna? Vaibhava means just slight difference. That would be Balaram. Because Krishna in Vrindavan has two hands, Balaram also has two hands. And he looks just like Krishna, two-handed form in Vrindavan, mood also similar. Of course, there's different mood. Krishna is the enjoyer, Balaram is in the servant mood. So slight difference in the mood and slight difference which is in color, but otherwise everything else is same. That means hardly any difference, very slight difference. Huh? And it is Prakash. Prakash because same form is expanding. He looks mostly identical, Prakasha. But there is a slight difference. But it's identical, two-handed only, Balaram. So when there is a very slight difference in the mood or in color, then you call it Vaibhava. That means more or less same. Prabhava means there is more difference. Right? Here it's more different. That means Prabhava means there is a difference in the form. For example, see, this is Swayam Bhagavān Krishna is where in Vrindavan, not even in Mathura and Dwarka. In Mathura and Dwarka, Krishna is called Vasudev, Vasudev's son Krishna. That's Vasudev Krishna. So Vasudev Krishna can sometimes appear as two-handed form, sometimes as four-handed form. If Vasudev Krishna is in two-handed form, then he would be an example of Vaibhava Prakash, same like Balaram, because he's also two-handed, he looks just like Krishna, right? So another example of Vaibhava Prakash would be Vasudev Krishna. Vasudev Krishna would also be an example of Vaibhav Prakash. Balaram and Vasudev Krishna. Which Vasudev Krishna? Two-handed, not four-handed. Because Vaibhava means very similar, right? So two-handed Vasudev Krishna will be an example of Vaibhav Prakash. Then what will be the example of Prabhava? Prabhava means, what did I say Prabhava means? There's a difference in form. Difference in form. So example of prabhava prakash would be four-handed Vasudeva Krishna. You see, Krishna in Vrindavan is two-handed, but Krishna in Mathura and Dwaraka, when he is four-handed, that Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna with four hands, would be a prabhava prakash of Vrindavan Krishna. So this is one categorization. Okay, what is prakasha? We saw. Then the second category. First one I told you about Svayamrupa. What is the second category? Tadekatma. Should I use a different color? So, okay. The second one. Tadekatma. Tadekatma. So the first one is Svayamrupa. Svayamrupa means the original personality. And then his expansions. Now Tadekatma means this is a little different in form and also in transcendental emotion. So slightly different. There is a difference. So from the original person. Here, the original person is Krishna and Vrindavan. Then the second type is Tadekatma. Tadekatma means he is not the original person in Vrindavan, but there is slight difference in form and in transcendental emotion. That is Tadekatma. So now this Tadekatma is of two types. Okay? Tadekatma is of, so there are two types of forms. In Tadekatma, there are two types of forms. One is called vilasa and the other is called svamsha. Okay? In Tadekatma, there are two. One is called vilasa because remember we said Nārayaṇa is vilasa-mūrti of Krishna is said in that verse. So I wanted to explain to you this. That's why I'm showing this. Vilasa means this form is meant for pastimes, right? For pastimes. Or you can say pastime expansions, right? This expansion for pastimes. That is called vilasa. And svamsha means personal expansions. Personal expansions. These are Tadekatma expansions. Tadekatma means there is a little difference in form and also little difference in emotion. And this Tadekatma is of two types. So this little difference in form and emotion can be for the sake of pastimes, or it can just be personal expansions of the Lord with slight differences. Now, what are the examples of this vilasa? Now, if you see this vilasa further, this vilasa also has two types. Now, the pastimes for the sake of, expansion for the sake of pastime, those expansions are again two types, vaibhava and prabhava. Vaibhava and prabhava. Vaibhava and prabhava. Same, vaibhava, prabhava means the same what we studied here. What does vaibhava mean? Mostly identical with some slight change in mood or maybe in color like that. That means pretty much same. But prabhava means there's more difference. There's actual difference in form. Prabhava means there's difference in form. Vaibhava means there's no difference in form. Example, two-handed, that will be vaibhava. But from two-handed to four-handed, that would be prabhava. Like that. So here, Krishna's Tadekatma form is of two types, vilasa and svamsha. Vilasa means for the sake of pastimes. Svamsha means personal expansion. Within vilasa, again you have vaibhava and prabhava. Now we will have to see the example of vaibhava vilasa and prabhava vilasa. So now vaibhava vilasa and prabhava vilasa, example of this is, you see, you have Balaram in Vrindavan. We saw here example, Balaram in Vrindavan. But also there is Balaram in Dwaraka. Yes? Balaram in Dwaraka. What is the difference between Balaram in Vrindavan and Balaram in Dwaraka? In Vrindavan, Balaram sees himself as a gopa. Whereas in Dwaraka, Balaram sees himself as a kshatriya. Yes? So there's a difference in mood. Dressing, how he dresses as a kshatriya king. There's a mood of a kshatriya as a warrior, as a fighter. But in Vrindavan, like a cowherd, he sees himself as a gopa. And he also performs Ras Leela. They go herding cows and playing like that. There's a difference. There's a clear difference in mood. Balaram in Vrindavan and Balaram in Dwaraka. So if you look at Balaram in Dwaraka, what kind of expansion is Balaram in Dwaraka? So for the sake of pastime, and Tadekatma, why Tadekatma? Because there is some slight difference, right? There is difference in the form. Compared to Krishna, there is slight difference, Tadekatma. And for the sake of pastime, and in that, there's not much difference though, right? Because he's also two-handed, but there is, for the sake of pastime, there is a difference in mood. So here, Balaram in Dwaraka has a kshatriya mood. Whereas Balaram in Vraja has a gopa mood. Okay? That means then Balaram in Dwaraka is a vaibhava vilas murti. Vaibhava vilas murti. Why vaibhava? Because there's not much difference. Same two-handed form. Vilasa, because for the sake of pastime. Vaibhava vilas, Tadekatma. Tadekatma, because there is slight difference. He's not identical with Krishna. There is difference. So, with respect to Balaram in Vrindavan, what is Balaram in Dwaraka? Balaram in Vrindavan and Balaram in Dwaraka. Both are identical, but there is a difference in mood. Slight difference, na? He looks the same, but he dresses differently and he has a different mood. So Balaram in Dwaraka is vaibhava vilasa murti. Vaibhava vilas murti of Balaram in Vrindavan. Balaram in Dwaraka is vaibhava vilas murti of Balaram in Balaram in Dwaraka is Vaibhava Vilas Murti of Balaram in Vraja or Balaram in Vrindavan. Okay? Is it becoming too much?
You have to remember a lot. I'm writing it down.
Vilas Murti. Okay, I'll just tell you about Lord Nārāyaṇa because that's our discussion here and then I can end. You're saying something, Mataji, I'm not able to hear. Did you say
Mataji,
anything?
it is a lot. I'm writing it down. I have to go back and reread everything.
Vani Seva, Mataji.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear though.
Wow.
1 second. Maybe.
I don't know why. Mataji, I am writing it down.
Yes.
I have to go back and learn it again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, you'll have to go back and refer to it. Okay. I mean,
But
I
it
can.
is, it's good to know all this,
Yeah.
because we just were reading something, but we don't know what is the whole detail of it, but we are learning a lot.
Yes, Mataji. So Lord Nārāyaṇa is a vilasa mūrti of Kṛṣṇa, is said. So that's why I was showing you what is vilasa. So that's why I did this, Okay, let's just continue. So vilasa also has vaibhava and prabhava. An example of vaibhava vilasa is Balaram in Dwaraka. Now, what is prabhava vilas? Prabhava means there is a clear difference in the form. Prabhava vilas means there's a difference in form. So, now we are still in Kṛṣṇa Loka only. This is Dwaraka, Mathura, right? This is Kṛṣṇa Loka. In Kṛṣṇa Loka, Balaramji, expands into 4 forms as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These are the expansions of Krishna in Kṛṣṇa Loka. That means in Dwaraka you will find them. Dwaraka and Mathura you will find Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. They are 4-handed. So you see, Krishna is 2-handed. Balaram is also 2-handed. But Balaram in Vrindavan is 2-handed. Balaram in Dwaraka can be 4-handed. Okay? But here we are seeing if he is 2-handed, then only it's vaibhava. Okay? So within this, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, this is Balaram's expansion, right? This Sankarshan in Dwaraka is none other than Balaram only. But these 4 forms are called vaibhava vilas. Why vaibhava vilas? I'm sorry, prabhava. Why prabhava vilas? Because you see, this is 4-handed. There's a clear distinction in the form. However, here it's only 2-handed. Balramji. So therefore, vaibhava vilas. Balramji in Dwaraka is vaibhava vilas. Compared to Balramji in Vrindavan, Balramji in Dwaraka is vaibhava vilas. He looks the same with some difference. What is the difference? Difference in mood. He's a Kshatriya and there he's a Gopa. So compared to Balram in Vrindavan, Balram in Dwaraka is vaibhava vilas. And then Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, compared to Balaram, they are prabhava vilas because there's 4 hands here. Prabhava vilas. Now, these same 4-handed forms expand into 24 forms. Identical. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, 4-handed. That means they hold Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Again, these 4 forms, you will find 6 sets. They expand into 24 forms. Same Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna. That means 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, like that. One is expanding into another, that's expanding again, like that. You find 24 forms. Now, what are these 24 forms compared to these 4? What are they? They're identical. There's no change in the forms. Then what will these 24 be with respect to these 4? Tell me. When they're identical, what do you call it? Prabhava ki vaibhava? And there's not much difference.
Vaibhava.
Vaibhava. So, with respect to these 4, these 24 will be vaibhava vilas forms. So, therefore, now in vaibhava vilas, you have 2 examples. One example is Balramji in Dwaraka compared to Balramji in Vrindavan. Other example is the 24 Chatur-vyuha compared to the original 4 chatur-vyuha. So the 24 chatur-vyuha forms, when compared to the original chatur-vyuha, the first set of chatur-vyuha expanding here from Balram. So these 24 are expanding from here. So these 4 compared to this are vaibhava vilas, because there's no difference. They look the same, identical forms. So these 24 are vaibhava vilas forms of the original chatur-vyuha. And what about the original chatur-vyuha compared to Balramji? It's prabhava vilas, because Balramji is 2-handed and this is 4-handed. So this is prabhava vilas when compared to Balramji in Dwarka. And these 24 are vaibhava vilas when compared to the original chatur-vyuha. Is that clear?
Yes, Mataji.
So once again, I can say Krishna's expansions are of 3 categories: Svayamrupa, Tadekatma, Avesha. Avesha means Krishna's potency is invested in, a particular living entity. That is Avesha, like Shakti Avesha. His Shakti is invested. That is 3rd category. But mainly here we are seeing, because we want to see the vilasa Mūrti, that's why we'll go until there. So Svayamrupa, in Svayamrupa we saw there are 2, Svayamrupa and Svayamprakash. Svayamrupa is the original personality of Godhead in Vrindavan, and his prakasha, the word prakasha means identical, you can say like duplicate, right? Identical copies, identical personalities, expansions, prakasha. So Swayam Prakasha means original personality Krishna in Vrindavan in many forms. Example, Raslila, Swayam Prakash. Now, further, if we just look at Prakasha, Prakasha means identical, right? Identical multiplication. So this Prakasha has 2 forms with slight difference, like there's no difference in form, but just some difference in mood and in color, like that. And then if there is actual difference in form also, then that is prabhava. So prakasha is expansions. If there is slight difference, then it is vaibhava. If there is difference in form also, then it is prabhava. 2 types we saw. So an example of vaibhava with respect to Krishna in Vrindavan would be Balaramji in Vrindavan. He looks exactly like Krishna, 2-handed form, but he's white in color. Slight difference. So the vaibhava prakash of in Vrindavan, vaibhava prakash example would be Balaramji. And another example would be Krishna in Vrindavan is 2-handed, but then there's also Krishna in Dwarka. What is the difference? Again, he's an Aishwarya Bhava, he's a Kshatriya, and Krishna in Vrindavan is cowherd boy. Now, this Krishna in Dwarka can be either 2-handed or 4-handed. 2-handed form of Krishna in Dwarka, 2-handed Vasudev Krishna, will be an example of Vaibhava Prakash. Because Krishna in Vrindavan is also 2-handed. Krishna in Dwarka is also 2-handed. What is the difference? Just there's a difference in mood. One is Gopa, the other is Kshatriya. Slight difference, just difference in mood. Form is looking the same. That's why it is Vaibhava Prakash. So what is the example of Vaibhava Prakash? Balaram is one example. Balaram in Vrindavan is one example. And 2-handed Vasudev Krishna is another example of Vaibhava Prakash. Okay. Then what is Prabhava? Prabhava means there's actual difference in form. There's more difference here. Prabhava means difference in form. What is an example of Prabhava Prakash? Krishna in Vrindavan and 4-handed Krishna in Dwarka. Because now he has 4 hands. Krishna has only 2 hands. Clearly you can see the difference in form. So 4-handed Krishna in Dwarka will be a Prabhava Prakasha of Svayamrupa Bhagavān, original personality of Godhead in Vrindavan, Krishna, 2-handed Krishna. Okay, so this was about Svayamrupa. Now the second category is Tadekatma. Tadekatma means, so Svayamrupa means the original personality in Vrindavan. Tadekatma means slight difference in form as well as in mood from the original personality. That is called Tadekatma. Tadekatma. Okay. So within Tadekatma, now you have 2 categories. Tadekatma has 2 types. That means there is difference in form and difference in mood. But why there is a difference in form and mood? For 2 different purposes. One purpose is for the sake of pastimes. for the sake of pastimes. That is called vilasa. In Tadekatma, if that change in form and mood is for the sake of pastime, then that is called vilasa-mūrti. And if that change in form and mood is personal expansion, just a personal expansion, it's called svayamrupa. So vilasa-mūrti and svayamrupa, two types are there. Now this vilasa, once again, like Svayamrupa has vaibhava and prabhava, vilasa, that means for the sake of pastime. There is a difference in the form and mood from the original bhagavān. That difference is for the sake of pastime. And in that also now you have vaibhava and prabhava. That means the difference is slight and difference is more. Vaibhava and prabhava. So example of vaibhava vilas. Vaibhava vilas is, so who is slightly different from Kṛṣṇa? We already said Balramji, right? Balramji is slightly different from Kṛṣṇa in Vrindavan. That is Tadekatma. So now that Balaramji in Vrindavan is also seen in Dwarka. There is Balaram in Dwarka also. And compared to Balaram in Vrindavan, Balaram in Dwarka has a different mood. His mood is, he's a Kshatriya. But he looks the same. He's white, he has two hands, but he has a different mood. The mood is he's a Kshatriya. Then that is vaibhava. So compared to Balaram of Vrindavan, Balaram of Dwarka is a vaibhava vilas. It's a Tadekatma. Okay, so Tadekatma means different from original Kṛṣṇa, slight different in mood. But within that, so Balaramji now, Balaram in Vrindavan, compared to Balaram in Vrindavan, Balaram in Dwarka is different in mood. What is his mood? He's a Kshatriya. Therefore, this is vaibhava vilas. But everything else is same. He's white, he's two-handed. But the difference is in mood. He's a Kshatriya. So slight difference. That's why vaibhava vilas. Then what is prabhava vilas? Prabhava vilas means there is a clear difference in form also. So now compared to Balramji, you see these Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they have four hands. So two hands and four hands. There's a difference in form. So this becomes prabhava vilas. This is the first catur-bhuja, prabhava vilas. Now this first catur-bhuja again expands into 24 forms, identical. They look the same. The first catur-bhuja and the other 6 sets of catur-bhuja look the same. That means these 24 forms are vaibhava vilas of this original catur-bhuja, because there's no difference. They look the same, but there is difference. Otherwise, there's no point of vaibhava. Vaibhava means there will be some slight difference. You know what that difference is? In the position of their weapons. They have Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So there is there's a right upper hand, left upper hand, right lower hand, and left lower hand. So there's exact position also given of, if the Shankha is on the right upper hand, then what is he called? If the Shankha is in the right lower hand, then what is he called? Like that. So these 26 forms are also differing from each other. It's not, but they're all four-handed forms. They also have, Kaustubha, Srivatsa, 24. They have 4 hands, and they're all holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. But the position of Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma is different. Based on that position, now you know each one by a different name. So some slight difference is there. However, the form is looking exactly the same, four-handed form. Therefore, these 26 forms are known as vaibhava vilas of the first original catur-bhuja. Did you understand this?
Mataji, I have a problem here. You said 24 forms?
Because each one is now, so this one set, see, so this is the first set of catur-bhuja. Okay. Now, if this catur-bhuja is multiplying, right, like is expanding into another set, So now you'll have one set and 2 sets. So one set will have 4, another set will have 4. Now, again, if this catur-bhuja is expanding into another set, 3rd set, there is 4. Then there's a 4th set, another 4. 5th set, will have another 4. Sixth set will have another 4. Totally how many chatur-bhuja? Chatur-bhuja means 4. Vāsudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. They are 4. So like this, if you have 6 sets, how many you'll have? 24.
24.
Forms. And based on, so now they are called Vasudeva. Originally they are called Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. But when they expand, they get different names. Keshava, Nārāyaṇa, Keshava, Nārāyaṇa, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, like this. Same Chaturvyuha only. But because of the positioning of weapons, they get different names. So if you want, that detail is also there, but I think it will be too much for today. I will stop here for today. But
Yes.
There's a lot there.
Yes.
But we are actually going to study this verse by verse when we come to the 20th chapter. Don't worry. This is like an overview I gave you, because here we are reading about Lord Nārayaṇa being a vilasa mūrti of Kṛṣṇa. So for you to know what is vilasa mūrti, what does it mean? Therefore, I gave you a little feel for, what is that expansion, vilasa mūrti. Okay. Vilasa mūrti of Kṛṣṇa is Lord Nārayaṇa. And because Lord Nārayaṇa is an expansion, therefore, it's natural that Lakshmi Devi gets attracted to Kṛṣṇa, because Kṛṣṇa has additional features than Nārayaṇa. So with that, I will end here. It's already late.
Thank you very
all
much.
so much for joining. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devicha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna. Thank you.